Today on the CTV News at 5, nearly 100 Crowsnest Pass firefighters have walked off the job in protest of a fire chief's firing. Plus, the CFIA releases new details of the problems at the XL Foods plant at Brooks. And the Supreme Court of Canada rules people with HIV do not have to tell their sexual partners.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Crowsnest Pass residents say decades of loyalty and compassion by volunteer firefighters have gone up in smoke over the municipality's refusal to address the dismissal of a longtime fire chief. Nearly all of the 100 Crowsnest Pass firefighters are now off the job after crews in Hillcrest and Bellevue handed in their pagers last night. It was a show of solidarity with Blairmore and Coleman firefighters who've already quit in protest. The firefighters say they won't return to duty until the municipality reinstates this man, former Blairmore Fire Chief Jamie Margatak, who had served for 34 years. Residents gathered to watch as firefighters paraded past the municipal office last night and dropped off their pagers into a box. The Crowsnest Pass Ratepayers Association is calling for the resignation of the mayor, members of council, and administrators for allowing this dispute to reach a crisis situation. For firefighters, the walkout has been gut-wrenching.
Like I said, it's not an easy thing to walk away from. You know, I've been personally 22 years at this, and I value our community, as all firefighters do. That's why we're doing it. It's a volunteer thing because we love our community and we're dedicated to it. So it's a tough decision, but we are firmly set on our views, and we need to have this addressed.
The municipality says it has a contingency plan that involves hiring extra fire support to work with those volunteers who still remain. However, community residents have started a petition asking the Municipal Affairs Department to launch an investigation. The Municipal Council has now agreed to meet with the executive of the Ratepayers Association Tuesday afternoon. And the suspended chief of the Piikani First Nation is expected to return to work after the Thanksgiving weekend. This is the final day of a 30-day suspension handed to Piikani Chief Gail Strikes with a Gun. She was suspended without pay by Band Council on September the 5th for improper conduct and conflict of interest. Strikes with a Gun went to court in an unsuccessful bid to have the suspension overturned. Band Council told CTV News that they were hoping that when the 30 days ended, the chief would come back and be part of the team. The Band Council is scheduled to have a regular meeting Tuesday morning. We are kind of getting a really great extension of that wonderful summer we saw, Dory, and temperatures could get up to 20 by Tuesday.
Yeah, Jackie, you're right. We could hit 20 degrees on Tuesday. Prior to that, we do have a little upper level disturbance that's just kind of skimming our neck of the woods. So we have a chance seeing maybe the odd shower tonight, maybe a flurry in the overnight hours, and tomorrow morning as well. But even tomorrow, temperatures are going to hit 14 degrees and lots of sunshine by the afternoon. I'll give you all the details in a couple of minutes.
Sounds good. Thanks, Dory. A Sherwood Park man has pleaded guilty to trying to smuggle a shotgun and enough parts to make 3 rifles across the Coots border crossing. Dean Barrett Reguer pleaded guilty in a Lethbridge courtroom to smuggling charges. Back on September 4th, he arrived at the Coots border crossing and declared 1 shotgun. But when officers checked his vehicle, they found more gun parts that, when assembled, made 3 complete weapons. Reguer has been fined $9,000 and the $21,000 worth of weapons were seized. Meanwhile, more drugs have been taken off Lethbridge streets thanks to the Alert Drug Enforcement Unit. 2 people face charges in an alert drug bust at a vehicle just northeast of the city. Search turned up 1.6 grams of crack cocaine and about $1,000 in cash. Police then executed a search warrant at a Lethbridge home where they found over 65 grams of crack cocaine and over $20,000 in cash and drug paraphernalia. They also seized 3 vehicles worth about $120,000. 34-year-old Duke Theval is facing drug possession and trafficking charges, while 47-year-old Kimberly Lawrence from Tabor is now facing a charge of possession of cocaine. And 2 people have now been charged after a carjacking in the East Kootenay that led to a man being shot by an RCMP officer in Cranbrook. Tuesday night, RCMP got a call of a carjacking on the highway south of Creston. The victim told police that he stopped to help a couple on the road, but was pepper sprayed and his SUV stolen. RCMP set up patrols in the Cranbrook area and then spotted the SUV. A chase led police to a dead-end road where an officer fired his gun. The male suspect was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The shooting incident is now being looked into by the newly formed Independent Investigations Office of BC to examine the actions of the officer. 26-year-old Nicholas Bullock of Port Coquitlam is facing charges of robbery and possession of stolen property, while a 17-year-old girl from Port Coquitlam faces a charge of possession of stolen property. The daughter of a murdered Vulcan senior says that she is disappointed. The Crown has decided not to proceed with the case against a woman who was originally charged with obstructing police investigators. The Crown has stayed the charge against Bobby Jo Parks. Her common-law husband, Timmy Engel, is accused of kidnapping and killing 77-year-old Otto Bunty Luce last January. Parks' lawyer says she believes, she is relieved, that the charges have been withdrawn, adding that people will see that while she was in a relationship with Engel, she wasn't involved with anything that happened. Luce's daughter, Lavonda Jesnick, says her family was given advance notification, but adds that doesn't make it easier to accept.
It definitely seems like it's just a legal system. It isn't a justice system. Very hard to... I don't know how you can live with a person, all of a sudden have all this money, all of a sudden somebody's driving a different vehicle and not ask questions. You know, the police, they're working very, very hard on this, and, you know, hopefully the truth will come out someday.
Timmy Engel will be back in court October the 12th for the setting of a preliminary hearing date. Well, some shocking revelations of the mishandling of maintenance and sanitations at the XL Foods plant in Brooks. The CFIA again confirmed a delay in getting information about the E. coli from XL and says what it did get was useless. Today, the agency released a list of problems it discovered at the plant. The revelations come as federal health officials confirm a person in Newfoundland who is now sick with E. coli 8 recalled meat from XL Foods. The latest illness is more bad news for Alberta's beef industry, which was hit by ranchers, and producers are now even getting harder hit, even though they have nothing to do with XL or the recall.
They're ready for processing, and now they don't have a plant to process those cattle at. So they have to go somewhere because those cattle are ready to go.
The CFIA is now releasing the details of what it's called their collective action reports, and they found XL had an appropriate prevention and control plan for E. coli, but it wasn't implementing it properly. Then, on just general sanitation issues, inspectors found a list of deficiencies, including a drain emitting a foul odor, sanitizer dripping onto product, insufficient equipment maintenance, and some employees were not wearing beard nets. Well, though E. coli is on many people's minds, local chefs are giving tips how to keep it off the plates this Thanksgiving. Lethbridge College chefs say it's not just beef. All types of meat should be tested with a thermometer. When cooked properly, a harmful bacteria will be killed, and that means most meat needs to be at least 70 to 74 degrees Celsius. Chefs also warn to keep raw meat separate from ready-to-eat foods and wash thermometers in between testing. They say being prepared will help avoid dangerous food situations.
The worst thing is, even if you take your frozen turkey, I need it tomorrow, you're going to run that hot water over it? Yeah, not good. You're going to bring that external temperature to that nice danger zone, and then the inside will be cold. So that level between the two of them, perfect place for bacteria. So get it in the fridge, let it thaw.
Chefs say rare meat can still be safe as long as the outside is cooked above the recommended safe temperatures. And meantime, another recall to tell you about. Indiana brand white cheddar popcorn may be contaminated with listeria. However, the popcorn wasn't sold in Western Canada, only in the eastern provinces. So far, there are no reports of illness. The Blood Tribe is now set to launch a new phase of housing on the reserve southwest of Lethbridge. This fourplex is part of a 3-year pilot project that will help the band deal with its housing crisis. It's the first 2-story residential building on the reserve that will serve as temporary accommodation for families whose trailers or homes are being renovated to clean up mold and fix damage caused by flooding.
It's another phase of what we've been doing with our housing project. You know, the duplexes that we just recently built are temporary homes for the ones that are going to be displaced in regards to renovation of their homes, whether it's by flood damage, mold remediation, you know, those type of things, you know.
It's estimated more than 300 homes on the reserve have extensive mold problems. A new exhibit at Lethbridge's Galt Museum is digging up southern Alberta history from as far back as 11,000 years. Bison bones, mammoth footprints, dart heads, and early coal miners' trash preserved in the soil help explain the region's history. The Galt chose this exhibit because visitors said they wanted to learn more about archaeology. The museum collaborated with many organizations to showcase items from a variety of sites and time periods.
Because the provincial government actually takes most of the artifacts and stores them in Edmonton at the Royal Alberta Museum. So we've borrowed a lot from them.
You don't see them put together like this in one place, and like I say, you have to travel a great distance to see a lot of these.
It's a mutual working relationship, and I guess that's for the betterment of all the people in southern Alberta here.
The Uncovering Secrets exhibit opens this weekend. A few Lethbridge City service changes to let you know about for the Thanksgiving long weekend. City Hall will be closed Monday. The Lethbridge Animal Shelter and Public Library will be closed Sunday and Monday. The landfill will also be closed on Monday, but no change to the garbage collection schedule. Yard waste sites will be open and fall leaf collection will continue as usual. Most arenas and pools are closed Monday except for Stan Siwick. That's from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Nicholas Sharon has public skate from 1 until 3. And the Helen Schuler Nature Center will be closed on Monday, but the Galt Museum, that one, will be open. You can have a say on what should be in next year's provincial budget. An Alberta Budget Public Open House will be held in Lethbridge next week. It's one of 9 scheduled throughout the province this month. People who attend will be guided through questions that will help the province to gather feedback on priorities for the 2013 budget. The Lethbridge session will be held at the Lethbridge Lodge from 1:30 until 3:30 on Tuesday. If you can't make it, though, you'll be able to go online to fill out the survey. And speaking of numbers, time now to look at the markets.